next couple of weeks, really, I was just getting tons of emails and just daily. I don't know. I think one day I had close to 100 emails just related to that. Just within that first day or so, and realized that all this, all these positive comments, I needed to do something pretty quickly because I know how fickle the internet is, and it was going to be every day I thought, okay, today it's going to completely taper off and it's going to be yesterday's news. But it lasted quite a while, and it's pretty much tapered off now. So,
but we're dredging it back up for you.
yeah, it's been busy. If I was paid, I'm still so far in the red on this as far as, and the intention was never to make any money. It wasn't anything like that, and it's very impractical to think so. But if I was paid, I guess in one way you can look at it, there's a little bit of profit, I guess, but that's if I worked for free. The hours spent in it, I'm so far in the red on it, just the hours spent, doing it, and plus just answering the emails. Because right now too, I'm giving out the source files for free to whoever wants it, or they can do a donation. I just thought I'd put that up there because it would be stupid not to. But so every day I get quite a few either PayPal transactions or requests for the free, for free. And so I have to reply to those, daily, because I didn't just post it to where you could just download it. It's on there, but I have to be able to send out the link. Okay. So,
in doing that, so going viral, that is kind of a crazy
experience,
expect, right?
Yes. Luckily, it was hosted on someone else's site, so I didn't have to worry about a high bill or anything like that.
For the hits, and then you had not necessarily a naysayer, but you had the criticism you were looking for.
Exactly. There were a few criticisms out there but they just were pretty thoughtless, and most of the criticism I could tell that they didn't. I put a long explanation on the Behance page where I originally posted it, and put this long drawn out explanation on what I did, why I did it, and things like that. And most of the criticism I was seeing, which was percentage-wise, maybe just very little compared to what I was reading. It was overwhelming how much positive criticism I was getting, but the negative criticism, you could tell they didn't read that. They just glanced at it. A lot of them didn't even really realize that the information contained in the design was not really generated by me. It was generated by a bunch of people, just a accumulation of data that was already out there. So a lot of the criticism was, why didn't he pick this, and where's this font, and why is that font on there, and then just kind of saying the nasty things that it's just not even worth responding to. And then finally, when I was just digging around, I came across Punya's post, and I thought, okay, this is what I was originally looking for. Something of this caliber, and it was very well thought out, and it was just something to, I enjoyed it more than the positive criticism for the most part, And
that's where I kind of came into the picture, and reading that, it's something that is hard to foster in people, that ability to take in criticism, giving criticism, which Punya's very good at, and taking it, which you are good at. But and everyone who's read Punya's criticism, it was very well thought out. It wasn't the spam stuff that you were talking about, where
exactly.
You forgot Arial font or this or that, you're stupid. It was
right.
A thoughtful criticism. So as a designer, can you kind of talk through why you want that sort of feedback and what it does for you?
Well, the way I see it, when you first put anything out, whether it's a design, whether it's a product, whether it's a speech, whether it's anything, we all know that you need to know your audience. I mean, everybody knows that, especially as teachers. You're going to change your teaching style depending on the grade and things like that. But so initially, my audience was me, and that was initially. But then that next day, when I saw these 5,000 hits, and I thought, well, the audience is slightly shifted. It's just to everyone. And generally, and when I say everyone, really, I was thinking in terms of everyone in the design community, because really that's really the only people that's going to truly appreciate it for what it is. And 99% of the responses has been from people in the design community that already had somewhat of an appreciation for typefaces and already knew something about it. So then I shifted to the thought that that's my audience. So now I could have done one of two things: just ignored everything and just said, well, it's still just for me, so I don't care what anyone says, or just go with it and respond to the criticism. And if it's negative, then if I'm going that direction, then it's kind of my obligation, I think, to my computer just went to sleep, to respond to it thoughtfully if it's given thoughtfully, and to make changes if necessary. Because now, once I change that mindset from myself to everyone, then I thought, well, I'm gonna need to change it to appease everyone, to appease designers, and really, that's why I put it on the Behance network to begin with, to get criticism, to get feedback. And there's still some things about it that I don't really care for. I don't like the title area at all, and that was just the last thing I could come up with, and I just don't think it looks very good. But I still have yet to hear any suggestions, so I'm just leaving it. But it's kind of funny. I read a long time ago something that David Letterman said, of all people, about being a comedian, and he said anytime a joke falls flat, it's not their fault, it's his fault, and it's his job to apologize for it or to change it up. It's the person on the stage's obligation to, if they're going that way, if they're not doing it for selfish reasons, then they're obligated to respond to outside criticism, whether it's a joke falling flat or whether it's someone hating the design for what it is, So.
Any questions from the room? Sergio?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, my name is Sergio. I just taught in Japan and now I'm moving to Venezuela. Nice to meet you. Good morning. I have a question. My question is this, and now would you consider this your piece of art, like your artwork? Or is this more in terms of you putting it out there to get, like you said, kind of get feedback and then adjust it accordingly? Now, I'm sorry, so I guess my question comes to this then. If this is a piece of art and you hold it dear to yourself, we've read a couple articles how if you have a piece of art, you really shouldn't compromise yourself when you think of that piece of art for the sake of others. So is this something that continues to be iterated because of the fact that it's out there for everyone, or is this something that you feel belongs absolutely to you and you might be a little skeptical in changing or altering something?
Right, exactly. I understand the question. Yeah, yeah. This is an unusual one. Normally, I completely agree with you, or completely agree with the article that no, you shouldn't compromise your own personal pure art. If people appreciate it, great. If they don't, too bad. That's what I did. This one is a little bit unusual because it's because of the data contained within it. I don't really know how to explain it the way I see it. It's a lot of people looked at it as a usable tool. There's a lot of art programs across the country and in other countries that really wanted this to hang on their wall in the library or over their terminals, to be able to be actually used as a tool to be able to say, okay, I'm doing this design, what's a good typeface to use? Let me glance up at that. It's a good way to quickly look at what's out there and the classics, really. So it's kind of this mixed thing. In some sense, I call it 50% art as a design and 50% just data-driven and just as a tool. So really, I kind of took some of the criticism that far as well, just about 50% in. If there was things that didn't affect the overall design, it's pretty static. It's straight lines and a few curves here and there. There's really not a whole lot of artistic